What's going on, you guys? It's KP here, bringing you another boxing video. I'm coming home from my friend's house. We got about 5 of us together and all pitched in ordered the Mayweather Pacquiao fight. I sure as hell wasn't paying $100 to watch it. So we got 5 people together. You can do the math, 20 per person. Got some pizza, a couple beers, and it was a good day today. You know, went and saw the new Avengers movie, which is absolutely amazing. If you have not seen it yet, I highly recommend that you go see the new Avengers movie. Excellent. 5 out of 5 review for me for that movie. As far as the card goes, the undercard, I thought the first fight was pretty boring, to be honest. Wasn't really impressed by either man's performance. Lomachenko, to me, I mean, he looked okay, but he still kind of fights like an amateur at times, and I think that's going to hurt him against the top competition. Like, if him and Gary Russell had a rematch, I think it would be closer than it was the first time. The second fight, Santa Cruz pretty much just dominated every round. He threw close to 90, I think it was 93 punches a round he threw. Just battered that poor guy. But hey, you got to give it to Caffeine, or I think that was his name. You got to give it to him. He hung in there and fought like a warrior. So the second fight of the night was actually pretty entertaining. And you know, as an undercard, it's kind of how I like the undercards to be for these big events. Make it short and sweet. If you're not going to give us any good fights on the undercard, any high-level competitive fights, just make it a couple fights so we can go ahead and get to business. As far as Mayweather-Pacquiao is concerned, first off, it took fucking near 2 hours to actually get to the fight. They were going around interviewing everybody and their mother about who they thought were going to win and yada, yada, yada. They did 3 national anthems, which I guess I can understand doing the Mexican anthem because it is Cinco de Mayo weekend, but was that really necessary? As soon as the fight started, you know, as soon as the guys got in the ring and got face to face, that was when I finally started to get excited about this fight. I'll be honest with you guys, it hadn't really set in with me that this was, I mean, it was just weird seeing them in the ring together. I mean, it was something to behold. It was a spectacle. First round, I will put my actual scorecard that I had down in the comments below, but the gist of it, I gave the first 2 rounds to Mayweather. I gave the 3rd and 4th to Pacquiao. And from there on, it was pretty much all Mayweather. I gave 2 more rounds to Pacquiao of the last the last 8. My final scorecard was 8 rounds to 4. Just like I predicted it would be. I didn't figure it was going to be a complete blowout. But I will say this. As long as they were in the center of the ring, Mayweather dominated the action. It was not competitive. His jab was landing at such a high frequency. He could use his hands and move Pacquiao around if he did go to the ropes. The only moments that I thought Pacquiao looked good in this fight were when he actually got Mayweather on the ropes and Mayweather just laid there and shelled up and he could actually flurry. Like in the, I believe it was the 4th round, he landed a pretty good straight left and drove Mayweather back and then rattled off like a 10-12 punch combination. Maybe he didn't land all the punches, but still, I mean, you got to give that round to Pacquiao. So, did this fight go like I expected? Yes and no. Yes in that down the stretch, I thought Mayweather would be in control, and he was. The way it didn't go that I saw, I thought Pacquiao would come out and win the first 3 rounds outright. I thought it was going to be 3 rounds in. I thought you'd have it like 2-1 Pacquiao or 3-0 Pacquiao. That's not what happened. You know, from the very first bell, he just seemed tentative to throw punches. And what amazed me was the fact that Mayweather actually out-threw Manny Pacquiao in a 12-round fight. Like, what the fuck? You know, you've got Pacquiao, who I expected to throw, you know, 700 punches. I figured that's what his game plan was going to be, was a volume game plan. Apparently, evidently either Roach and Pacquiao's team just came up with a shitty game plan, or the second option, which I think is what happened. I think Mayweather's defense and his lack of giving Pacquiao an avenue to land his straight left completely threw Pacquiao's game off. And you saw that in the center of the ring. Like I said, guys, Pacquiao doesn't have a good jab. All he has is a straight left hand, and if he can't land it, his offense gets nullified. How many right hooks did you see land in this fight? I don't even know if I saw one or two. You know, clean punches in the center of the ring belong to Mayweather. He dominated the center of the ring. When he pushed Pacquiao back and stood his ground, he dominated the fight. When he went to the ropes and let Pacquiao let off some combinations, that was when it got iffy, but that didn't happen very often. You know, hold on a second. But this fight just showed me just how one-handed Pacquiao really is, and you got to see it right before your eyes. If he can't land a straight left, his offense is cut by 80%. I mean, the guy threw, what was it, 400? He threw 400 punches in the fight, and Mayweather threw like 435. Like, when do you actually see Floyd Mayweather out-throwing an opponent? It just doesn't happen very often. And to me, the key to all that was that he nullified Pacquiao's left hand. Pacquiao landed one or two good straight lefts in the entire fight that actually rocked Mayweather and somehow affected him. The rest of them were glancing blows or just completely missed. I thought Pacquiao's highlight punches that I saw were a lot of jabs he landed off counters, but it wasn't like a lead jab. It wasn't any kind of steady stream of right jabs. He wasn't really trying a double jab left hand because he realized early that when he threw his right jab, Mayweather would come back and counter with a left hook and slide to his left. And I told you guys in my prediction, who likes getting hit in the head? Manny Pacquiao is not a completely reckless fighter. He's turned into more of a try to play it safe, will take off parts of rounds, and that shit just ain't gonna work against Mayweather. You cannot fight at a slow pace and expect to beat him. Like I said, guys, 5 years ago, I thought this fight would have been a lot more competitive. But seeing what I saw tonight, it just reaffirms. I would have had the same prediction 5 years ago that I had tonight. 8 rounds to 4 for Mayweather. Not a complete blowout, but a clear, decisive victory. Now, to the judge that had it 118, 110, I think that might be a stretch. I had it 116, 112. And 2 judges had that as well, and Harold Letterman had that, I think, as well. Farhood had it 118, 110. There were a couple rounds in the fight that were close that you could have went either way, and I believe those 2 rounds I both gave to Pacquiao because of his work rate in those rounds. He had a couple rounds where he was throwing a good amount of punches, but he didn't do enough. You know, he played it too safe. He got lured into the game that Floyd plays with every single one of his opponents, where he doesn't give you an angle, and people are like, well, why isn't he throwing? When you've got nothing to throw at, you're not going to throw. Unless you're a guy like Marcos Maidana, who just doesn't give a shit. And Pacquiao tries to be accurate. So, what wound up happening was you saw a complete outclassing in the center of the ring. When they were in the center of the ring and Floyd wasn't up on the ropes, he dominated the fight. And again, everyone talks about speed. They're equal, guys. They're both fast. And Mayweather has better timing. He's just the better boxer. He's more technically sound. He has a two-handed attack to Pacquiao's one-handed attack. And it's just hard to beat a guy that's on the level of a Floyd Mayweather when you have one hand. So I had a friend that was like, well, Manny got robbed. And then he came out and said, well, Manny threw more punches. False. You saw the CompuBox stats. Mayweather threw, I think it was like 30 more punches. And Mayweather outlanded him 148 to 84. That is a clear, decisive victory in my book. You know, and again, the people that were saying there was going to be a knockout, come on, guys. Neither one of these guys has knocked anybody out in years. So, you know, I hate to say I told you so, but I have it on video. I said 8 rounds to 4 Mayweather. That was the scorecard I wound up having. And I'll admit, about 6 rounds into the fight, I had it dead even. After 6, I had it 3-3. But the last 6 rounds, just like every other Mayweather fight, he makes those adjustments. He figures out what he needs to do, and he started standing in the center of the ring more and dominated the fight. I only gave Pacquiao 1 round in the last 6. So, you know, let me know what you guys think. I enjoyed the fight. I mean, I kind of knew what it was going to be. The fight was never going to be some crazy slugfest or anything like that. It was going to be a technician solving a riddle of a guy with 1 hand. And how long does it take to do that? Do I want to see a rematch? Fuck no. It wasn't close enough. There's no need for a rematch. Real quick before I end this video, I'll say what I would like to see both fighters do. I would like to see Pacquiao fight Amir Khan. I really would like to see that fight, and I believe Pacquiao wins that fight. For Mayweather, I would like to see him fight Keith Thurman. I believe Thurman is the only other guy in the division that actually does. I think he has a title, a recognized title. Or maybe he doesn't, but he's a damn good fighter. He's young. He's got good power. He's got good speed. And if this truly is Mayweather's last fight, he needs to close it out strong. If he beats Thurman, he's effectively cleaned out the division. So, let me know what you guys think. I will post my round-by-round scorecard in the description to this video. Everybody, I hope you had a good night. Hope you enjoyed the fights, and take care. Peace.